tell you you're going to build $1 million resume. It takes Hey everyone, Sandra back here, Glucose Studios, talking about coaching. And this video is inspired by a coaching session that I had this week with one of my mentees. He's a very innovative young adult who is desperately looking for an internship right now. And it's April and internships start in a couple months. And the frustration is that he put out hundreds of resumes and applications, but it's not getting anything back. So I have a solution for that. If you're a young adult, probably about your sophomore or junior year in college, you do want an internship, but you need to build a couple bridges first. And I feel the secret to that success and how to build a bridge is to go out and do community events or community development, something in your community that you're leading a volunteer program. That sounds like a big deal. It seems super outdated. I know your generation really isn't into it, but I'm actually an outreach expert. I've done a lot of outreach for NASA to tell the public about science, and it's been life-changing. It's been amazing going out into the public and being able to do hands-on experiences or bring the community together, inspire people, really. That's what it's all about. When you go out to the community, it's all about inspiration. I've done it for NASA, but there's other people that do it a lot often for the healthcare industry, to do health education or health and wellness. Those are very popular as well. But if you want to be a leader and an innovator in your field and you would prefer to be recruited rather than having to put your resume out there, you need to stand out. This is the secret to my success and the secret to a lot of other people's successes of how they've been recruited and how they've really made $1 million resumes. Like, how do you wow people? How do you stand out? Those skills that we talked about with being creative, being a leader, being humble and hungry, being empathic, and getting out in the community, that all can be within this one thing. So I want you to put your design cap on. So that's my little introduction for you. And I think a lot of young adults think that getting out on social media, you have energy to put yourself out in social media. Why don't you have social energy to go out into the community? Do you know anyone in your community? It's so important to connect authentically to people. And really, when you're on social media creating things, like, you're able to put your voice out there, but you're not able to have the response. You have any comments, but we know that causes a lot of issues, and it's really not authentic engagement. You can increase your skills of authentic engagement online, even through going out into the public and engaging for real with people. So each community is unique and each community has its unique needs. So the other part of this is the whole diversity, equity, and inclusion, that you could also gain a lot of experience with that. Go into your community and learn who is out there, who has access, who doesn't have access, who is running into barriers, and who has opportunities that are greater than the others. That's the type of information and data that you get when you put your feet to the pavement. So I want you to create a leadership project that you go out into your community. That's your call to action. I'm going to help you by giving you some examples today. What it'll do is it'll help you stand out as a leader. You'll understand the power of empathy and problem solving, and you will demonstrate your ability to execute a project from start to finish. That's a lot. And that's you taking a foot forward and saying, yes, I can do this internship. Because if you think of it, if you've never had any job experience and all of a sudden you're looking for an internship, the hiring manager is also thinking, has this person had a job before? I don't even know if they're going to have the skills to be able to operate in the work environment. And yes, that does happen. After 3 years of managing an internship program, we made it so we had no errors in it. But the first couple of years, here and there, we would have a student that would come in that didn't have basic work communication skills, like knowing how to dress, how to arrive on time, what the expectations were to be self-sufficient, get your work done. Like, it's not school anymore. You need to be a professional and you need to gain those experiences as well. All right, so what is community engagement? I told you a little bit about what I did with NASA, but I can go on a lot further. So like, I created a culture of innovation and leadership at NASA internally as well as externally. So what I did was I did a lot of workshops and training for the people that work there, the engineers and the scientists, so that they knew how to engage with the public, how they learned how to translate what they were doing, which is usually information up here. They'd always talk like at a PhD level, and I would teach how to translate and make things much more simple and interesting for the general public. Then we would go out into the public, and it wasn't just booth space out in events. Like, I hate that, to be honest with you. There's not that much exchange, and there's not that much return on investment in booth space. I mean, people do it, no offense, but I think there's a lot more. You can have a memorable and meaningful experience at that booth. You can hand out calls to action, like be a part of a challenge, so you're developing a community. You can also have like a high-tech product that, like our laser circuit that we had, that was like really demonstrating the work that we did. And that way people remember these types of things and are likely to start following you and being a part of your online community. When you're out in the community in person, your goal is to engage them and then convert them to be part of your community online, so that they continue to be a part of what you're doing over time, and your community builds over time. But when it came to community engagement, I mean, it was like giving tours and access to the subject matter experts and having students be able to shadow directly with the scientists and the engineers so they can learn what the career was like. Outreach is, in a form, an internship. Like, when you're working with interns, that's a form of outreach. Going out to the community and doing an art project or some type of community project together that you were accomplishing something. Like if you went into a school or a library over a series of a week, that you engaged with the same amount of people that you went with a project from start to finish. That's outreach. We created all kinds of technical products like kiosks that would be put up that people can engage with. We did speaking engagements, we did large events, etc. So outreach is citizen science. You know, it's really the ecosystem of outreach is making sure that you're really applying to like all different types of people through entertainment and not just like the high level science and thinking that people are like love science or anything. It's like, make it entertaining, make it interesting, make it appeal to people in their real everyday lives. So that's there's some examples of what you can do. Hopefully I inspired you for things that you can do for your own form of community engagement, to go out there and learn and inspire. Okay, so then some examples that I've done when I was your age, when I was a young adult, is first one I did was the lunchbox project. So I knew that I liked photography, I knew I liked people, and I knew I liked public health. So I went around with a little whiteboard, like the size of this iPad, and a marker and my camera, and I would ask people at lunchtime on college campuses, saying, what is your definition of a healthy lunch? There was no right or wrong. Honestly, I also went to outdoor festivals, so that was cool. And they defined what their idea of a healthy lunch was. It was interesting because then I had like a whole photo series of all these different diverse walks of people and then the different types of lunches. And it was an interesting way to collect data that then we could use that to promote a healthy lunch campaign. That would look awesome on your resume for sure. The next one I did was the My Hero project. And what I did with 18 and 23-year-olds was say, who is your hero? And we would talk about their hero and their qualities of their hero. And I would do some coaching with those young adults. And mind you, obviously this is when I was in my 30s then. I was a little older and I wanted to start mentoring. It's all about mentoring back so you can share your knowledge. And I did the same thing. I did black and white photos that showed them very inspired in their photos, and we did a photo show in a local hair salon, actually, not even a gallery, but it was in a local community that had a lot of engagement. And we did the art opening show on an art walk night, so we knew a lot of people would come in. I invited a lot of council people who were very engaged with the city and who could potentially be looking to hire young adults for internships or be able to mentor or give them some type of volunteer experience. And they were out there looking beautiful in their photographs. It said their heroes underneath and their names and like some of their goals. And it was just like a beautiful experience. So I'm trying to have you wrap your head around ways that you can use your talents, your interests to really start exploring how that can be meaningful in your local community. And then once you go out to your local community, how you can use that project to gather data to then create a project that is meaningful to the community. It's like a design thinking life cycle of collecting data, being empathic, and then critical solving some type of solution or coming up with some type of product that then has an impact on the community. It's a great way to start thinking about project management, program development, etc. And again, it goes in a variety of industries: the STEM, education, health and wellness, healthcare, probably not really business. You know, I don't know. Tell me. I don't know. You tell me where you can use these types of things. Obviously, I'm biased in some types of things. So for you, this is where I would start. You want to start thinking about what are you good at, and where is a local area place that you would feel comfortable going into. Maybe there's a local WeWork that has like communal businesses, or a coffee shop, or even a restaurant that's kind of cool, that's local. People come in a lot. A community center, YMCA, a gym, a library, a school, whatever. Do something and say to the leadership there, introduce yourself, say, hey, I am a student and I do this and I'd be interested in doing this or learning more about your community. And you can start to see how you start breaking down the barriers and getting out there and doing things. And honestly, that's what professional life is. It's about problem solving, breaking down barriers, not being afraid, being courageous, going out there and asking questions and getting answers. So the 4 parts to you gaining volunteer community engagement experience that is like high quality, high impact, where you're gathering data and producing something, is that you go out with the intention of with your best self. You gather data and identify a challenge, you provide a solution, and then you communicate the impact of your solution. Some hints are communities actually are always looking to engage with STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. You know, those programs that we've had in schools and some of us take for granted. Just so you know, there are schools that I know of in South Texas that have never had access to any type of STEM program in the United States still. So there is still plenty of opportunity to make a difference in the community when it comes to access and having available tools to learn the skills to be able to have a good career. There's tons of opportunity. Communities are very inspired by art. So even if you're not an artist, maybe you're a business manager or finance manager, partner with an artist and collaborate and then demonstrate how you can have some fiscal returns for the community based on that experience. I actually went to the London Business School on a scholarship. The founder of Pokemon, sorry I forgot his name, was in the class. That was cool. And what they did was they brought these like super high level business students, because London Business School is considered one of the best business schools in the whole world, with University of the Arts students. And I was there for my master's studying design, and they joined us together to learn creative entrepreneurship. And that was like 15 years ago, and still we're trying to grow with creative entrepreneurship. So there's plenty of opportunity. And then Communities love to gather for music, for art, for events, for health and wellness. Like those are the low-hanging fruits. So there's also been times that I've been to yoga festivals and did certain projects or certain types of data collection at a yoga festival because I already knew that the focus audience would be there. They'd be super engaged, and those types of folks want to give back to the community. So find out where there's some local events and get out there. I challenge you and comment below to tell me what types of things you did in the community. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna build $1 million resume. It takes about probably a month to put this together, from start to finish, that you can have your idea and then be complete with it. In a month, it doesn't even take that long, not even full time. Get it done. Come up with some creative stuff and stand up. Be an innovator, be a leader. Peace.